Hello, Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another episode of Toy Photographers Showcase. Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to Toy Photographers Showcase, the series where we invite a toy photographer to the channel, and he takes us through his top 5 personal toy photography photographs. Plus, he throws in an honourable mention. And to help me do this, as ever, is my dependable co-host, Mark BobaHicks. Hello, sir. How are you?
How's it going, Stu? How's it going, everybody? Hope everybody's keeping well tonight.
In this weather. Right, as you can see, once again, the background is another piece of art or photography, should I say, that you've taken. And I'm going to put it up big screen. I love this. I mean, I think the Stormtroopers look pretty cool anyway. But once again, it's that outside shot that you've taken with that sky. I'm guessing this, once again, has been early morning, Mark?
Yes, yeah. Was up early to get this one. This is it must be a couple of years ago now. I'm actually not I'm not sure how long ago. It feels like a while since I looked at this photo. But yeah, I have to say I always liked those sand troopers just for posing. You can get kind of
Yeah.
really natural looking poses out of them. You don't have to work too hard to get them to do what you want them to do. So, as usual, the sky was my friend and did a
Yeah.
lot of work for me there as well. So, it worked out well. Nice little trooper shot. Who doesn't like the look at a wee squad of troopers
Oh,
patrolling around
absolutely.
the
I
outer
mean,
rim
you've done.
territories?
So I was going to say you've done something similar with the Black Series Death Troopers, but for
Yes.
me, I do like a Stormtrooper, and I think this is absolutely quality. And we say it enough times in the series with our guests' photography, but this does look like a still from a movie. It really does. Awesome shot, awesome shot. Anyhow, well, once again, we've got another guest. Shall we get him on?
Yes, please. Very
Okay.
excited to chat to our
Yep,
guest.
yeah, because you were saying that with the guests, you don't normally know about these people, but you've known about our next guest, and you're a big fan.
Yes, I've followed him on Instagram for quite some time, and I'm very, very familiar with his work. So looking forward to
Right.
chatting with them and seeing what their thought process is.
Okay, well, let's get him on. It is David.
Hi,
Hello,
all.
sir. How are you?
I'm not bad, thanks. How are you guys?
I'm not too bad. Thank you so much for taking part. Really do appreciate you taking the time to do this. And it's David from Collector's Orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quality stuff. Quality. So we've got you on here because you've got your top 5. We'll start off with your honourable mention. So let's get straight into it. Okay. And here we have the Alien Queen. And I've got to say, this is absolutely fantastic. I'm liking this. You've set the mood really well. The lighting, just a fantastic photo. Absolutely quality. Mark?
Unbelievable, man! You're blowing me away straight away here. No, I love this shot. I've seen it before. And like I'm looking at this, and like I collect, aliens stuff, and I have the the toys that are in this picture, but like I'm looking at this picture and I'm kind of looking at what I have in my shelves, and you just make them look so much better than I could make them look. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's
Thank you.
so good, and just how you've used everything. Like the face huggers crawling over the power loader. Even just looking at like I'm trying to like spot the different types of xenomorphs, because we got your aliens warrior here, but we've also got, I think, like the aliens versus predator xenomorph there in the background as well. It's so beautiful. It's so well lit. It looks like it could be a still from like a new
Yeah.
video game or from a trailer or something. It's really awesome. Really, really awesome.
Yeah, I think with
It's,
this one, I started to try and do kind of like a scene recreation of just the kind of final power loader fight. And I couldn't really, I knew I wanted to go for that kind of like a portrait rather than a landscape. And I just couldn't get anything. I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to make up my own little scene and throw some facehuggers in and throw some aliens in. And yeah, and it came out. But I chose this one from honorable mention because I've got so much Queen shots. And I couldn't decide. So I was like, do you know what? Instead of putting one of them and putting it in my top 5, I'll pick one a little bit offbeat and we'll call that an honorable mention.
I was going to ask how come this didn't make your top 5, because I think it's a fantastic shot, but it's absolute quality. And you mentioned about doing it portrait. What was the thinking behind that? Do you think if you'd have gone landscape, it would have been the same? You'd have had the same effect as with the picture, or
possibly? Like I'd kind of done a power loader versus Queen shot before. It was actually pretty unsuccessful. And I think a lot of times my thought process for getting inspiration for a photo is a lot of times I'll just go onto Google and I'll just look up like fan art and things or comic book art. And I saw like one that was a kind of landscape and it was like the Queen kind of towering over the loader. And it was a really kind of dynamic pose. So it was that originally that I was kind of going in to try and recreate. And usually these things, they kind of find arms and legs and, I start here, but, I end up with a picture way over here, but it gets the kind of things going. And that's kind of what happened with this one. So I had it set in portrait because I was trying to recreate that. And then I just went off and tangent.
Quality. And I noticed you got the blood there as well. You got the green blood coming out from the alien at the bottom there, getting caught in the claws there. So how did you come around to get that effect?
That's just a post effect. And I use that little effect for everything. It's actually like a spark effect.
Okay.
So I use that. I think I had it originally for like stormtroopers getting blasted. And one day I was trying to do a blood effect. And I couldn't find the right one. And I just color tweaked that one. And I was like, oh, that works for alien blood. And I think if you see any of my shots has got alien blood in, it's always that same effect that I just use. And I do it so barbarically. I kind of take it, cut and paste it over it. Like I'm not a pro with Photoshop or anything. I just kind of smash it until it works.
It's very effective. I mean, I like the way that looks. Definitely, I really do like the way that looks. I think you've knocked that one out of the park there. Yeah. Anything else on this one, Mark?
Yeah, just looking at it here, it strikes me as the type of thing that Ripley would probably have like nightmares about this while she's in cryo sleep. When she finally gets away at the end, the aliens, and she goes for sleepy time. This is the type of stuff that's running around in her brain. It's an amazing scene. If you were to tackle it again, if you were going to go back and redo it, is there anything you'd do differently or change about it?
I would have liked the Ripley pose and things to be better, but then there's just so much you can do with the figure. Like I'd kind of liked a bit more of a head down perspective, kind of looking over her brow. And like, if I had that like a different head sculpt or something with a bit more expression, but then obviously you can only kind of work with it's not bad. Maybe just showcase more because I had obviously the picture kind of looks like she's like this and the alien's towering over her. Obviously it was shot like that with just a camera rotation. So I'd maybe kind of pull down the camera and look up it a little bit more and show a little bit more of the Queen's kind of crest. But she's so big sometimes it's hard to kind of find dials and things for her to kind of fit in before she's poking out over the top of it, and then you're just like, oh yep, there's my garage wall in the background. So sometimes it's a necessity that things have to get done. But no, I wish I'd kind of got her tail in more somewhere in the shot. The kind of back of her head, if you've seen the tail spiraling round, or kind of maybe coming over its shoulder towards a power loader. But I do this with every photo. As soon as I post them, I instantly I don't think I like that anymore, and I instantly see everything I would have changed. I'm notorious for hating my shots after I post them.
What figures did you use for this one?
So that's all NECA.
All NECA.
Yeah, all NECA. NECA power loader, NECA Queen, and at the time I kind of army built aliens since. By the time I kind of just had one of each alien. I had like one James Cameron, Alien Resurrection, something else. So I was kind of mixed matched. Whereas now I try and keep like all the same alien in a type of shot, which usually is always the ridged head, because that's just I've kind of got my 2 official NECA ones and then ones off of AliExpress for cheaper.
I was going to say they photograph so well and it looks so realistic. This is absolutely fantastic, and I love. Like I said before, I like the lighting. I think the lighting is just, you've absolutely nailed the lighting there. Really cool. Liking that a lot.
So good.
Right.
So good.
Okay. let's crack on then to your top 5. So the first one here we have Predator versus Batman. Again, a very moody shot. Mark, do you wanna lead this?
Yeah. Tell us about the your thought process or your inspiration for this one. How did this come about?
Well, it kind of had a two-step inspiration. So very, very early in my toy photography career, I did Batman versus Predator, which was inspired by the YouTube Dead End, which was obviously Batman versus Alien versus Predator. And I have a kind of a little stage where, you know, sometimes you run a bit dry in ideas. And I can't remember, it was talking to someone and they suggested Batman v Alien. I was like, well, I did do that years ago. So it was part me re-exploring something I'd done before, kind of like, oh, with, you know, new acquired skills, how can I do this different? And I kind of moved away from the Batman Dead Ends, you know, trying to recreate perfect scenes, and kind of did it as my own thing. So this was actually, I did like a 3-shot little series of this. So it was kind of Batman v Predator, and had face huggers in the back, and then it escalated to xenomorphs, and then the final shot was kind of more of Batman and Predator fighting off both the Xenos. So yeah, but I always just, this one I can't even remember it was that successful on Instagram, but I just always really liked it. I really liked the lighting. I see about 1 or 2 things wrong with it if I did it now, but generally I was always really happy with this one.
I like it. I think it looks really cool. I think you've really set the mood for that. I mean, I'm loving the lighting once again. From start to finish, then, for the whole process, how long did it take you to get this shot that you wanted?
I don't know. My shots, usually my setup procedure is pretty quick. Because I use like obviously the smoke and everything's kind of seems to be one of my little trademarks. I kind of put it into everything, which is usually just vape. And a lot of times I'll spend the most time getting everything set up, and then kind of blowing vape in, clicking, looking, going, the smoke's too much at this side, I want some at that side, or I want that depth here. So most of my shots is just me vaping and blowing, trying to get just that right balance of smoke. Yeah, I'd maybe say this was one of those ones, maybe about maybe an hour, like all the way in. And I don't think I really did much editing on this one. Like I try not to do too much editing. I really like to get as much as I can in camera. And then maybe just add special effects. So this one wasn't much, like just a little bit kind of contrast and things, and then the fire embers and kind of the his gun light. Oh, and I did put like a bit of green on like Batman's knuckles, as though they're kind of been in the fight for a while, and you know, there's a bit kind of Predator blood, but I don't think it really stands out in the picture as much I would have liked.
Just going back, did I hear you say you vaped and blow?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, look, listen, if you had a cigar and puffed on that and blew and had a glass of port with you as well, that would have been incredible. That would just, wow. But
yeah, all my shots, all the atmosphere, it's always just me vaping, and then I shoot with like a slow shutter to get that kind of like mist. But sometimes it's like, I'll blow from this angle, and then I'll do that for a few shots. I'm like, no, that's not right. The smoke's not going where I want. So then I'll move around and I'll start blowing from the other angle as I'm taking the photos. So
that is insane.
My longest bit of it.
That is absolutely insane to think that someone would actually use vape, and that is outrageous. That is genius, absolute genius.
I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, what smoke machines do you use?" I was like, "No, it's just my vape habit."
I vape as well. Now I know what else I'm going to be doing with my vape. excellent idea. No, that is genius. It is genius. Dude, like once again, I love this shot. I'm guessing like the Predator and the Xenos are NECAs. What's the Batman? Is he like a Mezco or?
Yeah, I think that's actually the Mezco Predator as well.
Right. Cool.
Okay. I've really kind of been falling in love with the Mezco Predator. Like when they first got, obviously I'm a big Predator guy as well. And when it first got announced, I thought just like it was a bit flat kind of looking. But I saw like a YouTube of somebody just doing really minor repaints on it. I was like, I could do that. I quite like doing repaints and dry brushing and things. And I did it, and I just did a lot more paint around the face, and mostly just with Sharpie, putting in those dots, and then some dark washes and things, and then more dots and dark washes around the arms. And since doing that, I've absolutely fallen in love with the figure. So I've been using it a lot more. So yeah, it's both Mezco Batman, Mezco Predator, and then NECA aliens.
And then you've built your own dioramas as well. Is that right? For a lot of
Yeah.
these, or
I've got, I'm trying to look in the background what I've got in that one. I do have some like kind of sci-fi space dioramas, which I'd got from Mighty Kane on Instagram. But all my other stuff, like my Alien Hive, which I don't think I've got in any of my actual top 5 photos. But Alien Hive, I've made myself, and like all my street diorama stuff, I've kind of made myself.
Wow.
Amazing.
How long does it take you to do your dioramas then?
Not long, because I've got no patience.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I'm going to be like, I really want to shoot this tonight. Damn it, if only I had a diorama. And then I'll just blast it out in the afternoon, and I just do it so rough. And then, you know, I look at it and I'm like, man, this is such an amateur job. But I'll be fine in the background once I hide it with vape.
I mean, the thing is, I like me seeing that personally, I wouldn't say there's anything amateur about this picture at all. I mean, from the background to the foreground and stuff like that, and the way you've got the figures set, and again the lighting and the vape, it's just absolutely incredible. And obviously, you know what goes into it, but looking at it, how I'm looking at it now, I can't see anything wrong with this.
The only thing I don't like is that kind of space in the middle down by their feet. I just feel like there's that open space there. And I'm like, I could have utilized that better, or, you know, had maybe that face hugger in the bottom corner be into the shot a little bit more. Yeah, it's just that dead space in the middle is like one of the things that kind of like, And Batman's hand that he's, obviously kind of plans, he's reaching across, Predator's kind of dodged it a bit. Kind of wish there was a little bit more separation and things in that, but sometimes it's getting that pose and having it tight, but then if you've got them too tight, then you can't get the angles to get lit because they're obviously shadowing each other and things. So it's it's sometimes getting that kind of locked in battle kind of posing's right. Or sometimes you'll do the pose and it looks great, and then you look at it through the camera and you're like, this looks ridiculous. Like I did one that was a Batman versus Splinter shot. And it was, the idea was Batman was taking a big high kick and Splinter was just ducked it and was going to sweep the leg out from Batman. And I've done martial arts and things for years, and I posed the Batman and I got all the posing right for the kick. And I'm like, that's exactly how a kick should look. And I looked at it through the camera and I was like, that does not look like a kick. And I had to tweak and play with that so much. And by the end, it looked right on camera, but you look at the figure and you're like, that's not how you should be kicking. But it's how sometimes it perceives to you to perceives to camera. It's completely different.
Wow, that's interesting. Interesting. Mark?
Yeah, well, look, you kind of answered the question already in terms of the couple of things you'd probably change or do differently. But look, just to echo what Stu said, like it's like there's nothing amateur about it. Like it's a really fantastic looking picture, and just like in your honorable mention picture earlier, there's a real sense of motion. Like that you literally just like you were mid-fight here, you've just happened to capture that exact moment of that punch connecting or whatever. It just really works, and the aliens and everything in the background are just perfectly positioned and lit. It's amazing. I love the little the alien flyer or poster that's on the ground as well. That's a really nice touch too.
Oh wow, I've just noticed that.
Yeah, that was one of those things of, what can I fit in that space? And what can I do kind of like trying to fill up a shot, and you can look around and your eye goes around, there's no dead spaces and things. And a lot of times that's just, I'll kind of put aliens in stages, and then I look through the camera, I'm like, if he was a little bit over this way, you'd see him over the shoulder more than could have been hidden. And then it's just a little tweaking and a little bit of patience, and
cool. Well, you mentioned dead space. I mean, for people who aren't into photography and stuff like that and don't understand that terminology, can you just explain dead space?
So I would just say, well, to me, it's a space that there's just nothing there, wasted space. And even sometimes I'll fill a dead space with just a bit of a light pop, or even if there was like smoke coming into that. Unutilized space.
Unutilized space. No, fair enough. What is it about this photo then that stands out for you to make it into your top 5?
I don't know if I could put my finger on it. I really like the lighting on it. It was just one of those ones, like a lot of times I come away from a photo and I'm like, usually like, it'll do, I'll post it. And this was really one of those ones that was kind of at the end, I was like, as I was kind of editing it, I had it on my laptop and I kept standing back from it. I really like this one. And it's just one of those ones. It's just, I think that's pretty much with all my top 5 is Some of them I can't really put my finger on. It's just like, you know what, I've always really liked that one. I've always been quite proud of that one.
Yeah.
I really like the lighting, how the orange lighting is kind of catching Batman, but then you've got the soft white lights kind of coming over. I was just always really proud of this one.
No, it's a quality picture. It really is, and you've definitely got an eye for it. Again, you've gone portrait. Any particular reason for going portrait on this one?
I think I was kind of trying to go. I knew I'd done. Obviously, this was the 3-parter. I think it was more just I wanted to keep all of them in portrait.
Right.
This one, just the way I was wanting to almost go for like. Sometimes I like making something that looks like it would be a page right out of a comic. Whereas I kind of go landscape and I think a little bit more cinematic. But this one, just even the kind of setup and idea of what the shot was in my head, I was like, yeah, I can do that in landscape, in portrait. Sorry. Whereas the follow-up one to this, ideally, I really wanted to go landscape with it, but I was adamant that I wanted to keep it in the same ratio as these. So I really kind of force it and play with the posing to make it fit. But no, with this one, I just kind of keep it in that kind of almost comic page kind of line of it.
Okay. Yeah. You've definitely captured that. That's it's awesome. Mark, is there anything else you want to say finally on this one?
Just a great shot, a fantastic shot, and as somebody who like that Batman Predator Dead End video, it's like that famous. It's like one of like my earliest YouTube memories was just watching that over and over again. So to kind of see that brought to life in a way, and also it's just reminiscent of those those old Dark Horse and DC Comics crossovers with Batman and Predator that I enjoyed as a youngster as well. So yeah, no, I absolutely love this. I love the concept. I love the execution. It's a brilliant photo.
Awesome. Cool stuff. Right, let's crack on and we'll go to the second one. Again, absolute quality. Mark?
Unbelievable. So it's Resident Evil, obviously. Take us through the thought process and the inspiration for this one.
I can't really remember actually what my full-on inspiration was with this one. I was just really, really in love with that Leon figure when I got it, and I was starting to kind of build up the other ones. I'm really proud of this one because I was using a lot of mixed scale things. So the building behind the liquor is just like a little building this size that I'd kind of got for like King Kong Godzilla photography. And I just kind of threw it in. I was so tickled pink of how well it came out for the fact I was using this little small building. And it's just one of the shots kind of like compositionally. I kind of love kind of everything that was going on. And again, it was kind of going for that game poster, comic book page kind of feel. I think all my original setups, he was actually using the flamethrower. Hence why I kind of had the idea of the fire in the foreground, because that was set in because he was going to flamethrower. And I think it was only the last few that I was like, why don't we take the flamethrower out? We'll put a shotgun in. And that kind of ended up being the ones that I kind of chose from it. And again, even like the Raccoon sign, Raccoon City sign was just something I printed out, stuck on a bit of card, balanced on something silly, but all comes together in the shot.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, firstly, the flame, I love that, at the bottom of the picture there. I just think that's absolutely fantastic. That really does sort of like, I don't know, I just think that's a quality effect there that looks really good. And the building as well. And I think it's because, again, looking at it, I wouldn't have known that was a smaller scale building. Yeah. But I'm guessing that's because the way you've got the picture and the camera angled, you've taken it as if.
Yeah. As well, just kind of forced perspective, even though that's, maybe liquor's kind of here and the building's maybe only about that far back from him. But then because the scale, you assume a lot more depth to it. And I think a lot more of my shots is usually big city wall or big backdrop, and then it's kind of close and claustrophobic. Whereas this one, I was going to say, I was so delighted the way it came out, and it really kind of gave the idea of like kind of a big street and kind of early start of the game when you're kind of trying to make it to the police station and
So from start to finish, sorry, go on. Sorry. I was going to say from start to finish then. So how long did this whole process take you rather?
I'd probably say I don't think we were actually a long one with this one. Like I said, I did a lot of shoots originally with the flamethrower. I'd maybe only say this maybe an hour and a half or something. Right. And then kind of editing wise, maybe only about another half an hour or so. Okay. Sometimes I'm bad for doing retweaks. I'll take the photo and I love it and I think it's great, and then I move over to the laptop and I can see it full screen, and sometimes I'll look and I'll go, that zombie would look better just about an inch that way, and then I go back and I turn all the lights on and I start the whole thing over again, and then I do those retweaks and things, and then I've seen me do that, and I've literally spent on some shots an entire day playing with this one shot, and then in the end I end up taking one of the shots I took within the first half an hour, and that's just me after moving figures around and changing like portraits and stuff. So
yeah, sounds a bit like my wife when she goes shopping. She'll start off in the first shop, spend ages going around the shops to go back to the first shop and get what she first saw. So how many? So with your photos, and I meant to ask it with the previous picture, how many photos do you take before you get the picture that you really like and think that's the one for me?
It all depends. Like the other day, I did a Predator and Alien shot, and I got that done within 4 photos, which is record breaking for me. But I would usually say can be bad, like 20, 30, 40. But a lot of those is pretty much everything's right there. It's just different angles of me blowing smoke in. So there'll be somewhere there'll be quite a bit of smoke in the foreground, or there's a lot of smoke behind one cop, and I've maybe got more smoke behind this one, and it's just loads and loads of them blowing it in with a slow shutter, trying to get the right one where it just makes everything pop. So mostly that's my process, and sometimes I get that lucky really quick. Sometimes it takes a bit longer, but it's usually the actual composition, setup, and posing that's usually done pretty quick. It's mostly the blowing the vape ins, the bit where I just keep doing it.
How long does that vape smoke last then? So you take your I get my words in, inhale the vape, you blow it out. So how long have you got before that all sort of evaporates?
And you know what? It's actually the problem isn't sometimes before it kind of disperses. It's usually a problem because once that gets in between, say my focus character and the camera, is I don't usually like vape in between there, because then you get like a bloody smoky shot. So it's usually I like the vape to go in around behind the main character, which will create depth between the background characters and the dial. So a lot of times if you leave it too long, the vape fills the scene and then blows towards the camera, and then you're just left with like a really misty rubbish shot. So it's actually doesn't case if it goes away. It's a case you get too much of it and you have to blow it all the way and then start again.
Wow.
So it's usually a case of blowing it from a certain angle, and it's not as much I kind of blow it in and just let it all settle. I also blow it with a bit of force, so it's kind of blowing through the shot, and then I'm clicking as I'm kind of doing that, and then the slow shutter is giving it like a soft mist.
Okay, that's cool. Mark?
Yeah, well, look, I'm a big Resident Evil fan, especially the first couple of games. Had a big impact on me, and I'm the whole time as I've been chatting, I've been kind of taking this in. Because I'm not like my Resident Evil figures, they're from like way back in the day, like they're the old Toy Biz figures. So I'm kind of curious as to what a few of these are. Are these like a mix of like, what is this, Mezco, Nemesis?
They're actually third parties.
Right, cool.
The Leon's Limb Toys. I think the Cops Patriot Studios, and I think the Liquors Patriot Studios as well. So yeah, they're all third party. And when I saw the Leon come, and again, Resident Evil 2 is like one of my favorite games. Like I love the remake, but I remember being a little kid and playing like on the PlayStation and things. So as soon as I saw that Leon, I was like, ooh, I want that, and it came through, and it's gorgeous. Like the third party things are exceptional. And then I just had to get all the things to go with it, like get the zombie cop and the liquor, and I kind of hope they do some more things. And I've got the Resident Evil 4 one as well, but they're if you're a Resident Evil fan, they're a must-have.
I absolutely love the fact that you've got the herb on the ground there. That
well, it's like the Leon figure comes with all that things. I think the zombie that's actually the zombie that's lying on the ground, that's like one of the really old NECA Resident Evil figures. So I picked up a few of them on eBay just for kind of. So there's not much zombie figures really. I've been trying to make some custom ones just to kind of get more filled out scenes and things, but no, those third party ones are tremendous.
Yeah,
sorry, Mark. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I was just going to say, if you were to take another stab at this one, is there anything you do differently?
I'm not a tremendous fan of the foreground element. I think like that fire, like the embers are obviously post, but the fire was done at the time using the back of like the neck of Freddy Krueger figure that's got the fire that comes up the back, and I just had that setting in. I would have kind of done that different and I would have maybe had the zombie that's on the ground a bit different. It maybe has like leg on it, like he's standing on it. But overall, no, I've always liked this one. I just liked how it all came together and that depth and things. Yeah, no, there's not too much of a change. More zombies. If I had more zombies, I'd put more zombies in.
Oh, what is it about this photo then that stands out for you and makes it into your top 5?
Again, it's that the first time using that small building, and I just said I was so chuffed with how that came out.
Yeah,
And I just always really liked the composition of it and things. How I'd kind of done the angle, like I do the Dutch angle a lot, but I just kind of really liked in this one. I just overall was really, really happy with the setup and really chuffed myself with this one. It's just one of those ones that's kind of, you know, it's one of those favorite ones. A lot of times you can't put your finger on it. You're like, I always like that one. Yeah.
You say you went for like
a... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Stu.
No, go on, Mark.
I was just going to say, it kind of reminds me a little bit of reading, like, say, a video game magazine back in the late 90s, and they'd show you like promotional imagery for the game. It wouldn't actually be game footage. It would be like, they get an actor and they'd have him on a set.
Concept art kind of thing.
I definitely get that vibe off it. Like, it could have been like official Capcom Resident Evil advertising material. Like, it looks that good.
Yeah. I was going to say, I really like the angle, the way you've set the camera up and stuff like that. And I just think it really adds to the photo for sure. And it definitely looks like something possibly that you get in a comic book. Definitely. It's a really great photo. Awesome stuff.
Thank you.
Right. Let's move on to the third choice. Again, just absolutely incredible. The lighting, the way you've got it set up, the background. Mark.
Unbelievable. You can't tell me now this is a NECA. This must be like a Mayfix or
that's the Mayfix one. I wasn't like fantastic. Terminator 2 is like one of my favorite. Well, Terminator 1 and 2 are like two of my like top 3 favorite movies. And I was never overly impressed with the NECA T800. And then the Mayfix ones came out, and I saw the Terminators came out and things. And it was when I went and got the RoboCop from Mayfix. I was like, oh wow, this is really, really good. I really like this. And then I think I'd seen the reviews come up for this. I was like, I have to get that. And then since getting this and the RoboCop, I've just went and got all the Mayfix Terminators and RoboCop figures. This is a really, really great figure. I actually kind of cheated a little bit because this is a B version of my favorite one, because my original one on Instagram doesn't have the purple laser. So I'll give you a sneak peek at something slightly different.
No, it's cool.
Yeah,
sorry, Mark.
Cool. Oh, no, it's good. We'll let David away with us. We won't disqualify the picture over that. No, it's amazing. It's amazing. I really, really love it.
Yeah, I think is that an that looks like, no, I was going to say it looks like a face hugger on these on his shoulder there, but I don't think it is.
No, I think it's just the cables of there.
Yeah. Well, did you ask the first question, Mark?
Oh yeah. What was the thought process behind this one?
It was there was nothing special. It was just I've got this new Terminator figure that looks ace. I really just want to take. A lot of times when I get a new figure, I like doing just something kind of solo with it. And then once I've done that initial picture of like, here's the figure, how it should be in its proper thing, then I start doing crossovers and things after that. So it was just kind of I really love the look of this figure. I just want to do a nice, simple portrait of it. But I just love the way it came out. And again, that's the miniature buildings in the background. Wow. I think it just really sells the scene of kind of destructive apocalyptic future.
Yeah, you've certainly captured that. Absolutely. This really does look like it was something out of the film. It really does look just incredible. The way you've got it set up, like I say, the lighting, the miniatures in the background, everything about this is just smacks quality. Absolute awesome picture. Again, how long did the whole process take from start to finish to get this shot that you wanted?
I think this was a relatively quick one. As I said, I wasn't kind of having to combine multiple figures and playing with the posing and moving background characters, things. Like a quick setup. I got my buildings and I was like, I wonder if I can do that thing with Resident Evil again and use the smaller buildings, put in the background, a little tweak with them. This was a very quick turnaround one. And even that's why I was playing with that, adding that laser effect, because I did it all so quickly that I was like, surely there's more I can do to this. I've done this too quickly to be done now. So I did kind of 2 versions. I think I did post them both actually. But it was the non-gun shooting one that was the main one. And I think this was the second picture. But no, this was a relatively really quick one to do. Probably maybe half an hour probably tops for the lot, I'd say, with this one.
Oh wow. And what I like about this is you've got like it just in the foreground there. It's not quite in focus, but I quite like that. I like the fact that you've got like just some rubble there, or you know, and it's not quite in focus, but I do like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all Halloween decorations from Poundland, and they did like 6
wow.
skeletons. And one of my other friends on Instagram had suggested it, and then just cut them up, give them a bit of a black wash, and then that's my skeleton groundwork that I've just got in a big bag now that I can use for whatever.
That looks absolutely incredible. Mark, I'm blown away.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And you know what? You've sold this Mayfax endoskeleton to me, because I have the NECA one on my shelf. It's a really disappointing figure. It's very hard to stand up. You can't really do anything with it. And like you, I also purchased the Mayfax Robocop fairly recently, and it's a beautiful figure. It's an absolutely amazing figure. So this has just really further encouraged me to invest further in Mayfax Terminator and Robocop stuff, because
so I have because I got the NECA Ed, and I'm happy with that, and I was waiting patiently for a Robocop, and the NECA one came, and I did one shot of it, and I was like, this is so difficult to shoot. I was like, this doesn't look like Robocop, and I didn't even keep it. I sold it. I was so disappointed with it. And I think I'd seen someone else doing the Mayfax Robocops. So I'm like, I'm going to get one of them and see what it's like. And it came through. I was like, oh my God, this is tremendous. So I went and got all 3 of those ones. And then I ended up selling all my NECA Terminators and went and bought all the Mayfax ones, especially after the back of this one. Once I got this one, I was like, no, I'm getting all these Terminators. No, they're like really killing that. I really hope they bring out some other things like the T1000 and things would be great if they kept going with it, hopefully.
Just carrying on with this conversation about the figures and stuff like that, how important is it for you to get the best figure possible to take the best photo, you know, that you possibly can?
I would say it was something I never used to be as concerned about. It was once I kind of started getting into a lot more of the third party figures, I was like, wow, it's like the head's got, like, some of these look like little hot toys. And then when you unshoot it, like, so I shot like a NECA Terminator once, and sometimes the paint isn't great, so I'll use like highlights and shadows to really bring out the sculpt, whereas you see a little bit more of the realism. And I remember people being like, wow, like the way you've shot this, that does not look like a NECA. And then once I actually started getting some third parties with like tremendous head sculpts, I was like, wow, this is so much easier to shoot, or you don't have to try and hide the little imperfections in the paint job and things. You can be more creative because you don't need to worry about these little things. So it's been a slow process. I've not really realized that. I've kind of trying to collect a little bit more quality figures, and I've kind of like dropped a few lines to kind of just narrow down kind of what I get.
Wow.
You're better off probably, you know, quality over quantity, as they say. You know, and like I said, like I can definitely kind of echo the sentiment when it comes to, you know, the difference in quality between the Mayfax stuff and the NECA stuff is night and day. And you mentioned there about purchasing the NECA Robocop. I had picked up the NECA set where it's basically Robocop on his chair that he sits in. You've probably seen that. But the figure that comes with that set can't actually sit in the chair. It does not have articulation that is good enough to actually sit it in the chair. And that's why I ended up actually purchasing the Mayfax figure, because it could actually sit in the NECA chair and look natural. And
as well, you can get one figure and you can swap the damaged mask and the damaged body rather than having a clean figure and a damaged figure. I was really disappointed with the NECA one. It was even like the head proportions and everything, and the kind of way the joints open. I remember doing that first shot with him. It was just a simple one coming out of smoke, and I was like trying to hide the imperfections. I was like, man, there's more imperfections to hide than it was the sculpt that I couldn't cover the sculpt. You know what I mean? That's the bits I use the light to pick up the sculpts and things. And I don't think I kept it long before I sold it on. I have stages where I'm like, right, I've got too many figures in the house. I need to clear some things, get some funds, and that was one of the ones I didn't really bat an eyelid at losing.
Is there anything you'd change with this one? Is there anything you'd do differently if you were to take another stab at it?
It would be nice if I was better at Photoshop and I could add some of the like hunter killers in the skies and things like that, and more Terminators.
Yeah. No, I personally, I like this how it is. I sometimes I think less is more.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I just like it. I think it's a great shot. So, what is it about this one then that makes it stand out for you to put it in your top 5?
To me, I just always thought it was a beautiful shot. And I think it was that little bit that I just loved the figure, and then I shot it and I came out. I was like, man, that figure looks great, and it's such a great clean. It was just a really nice clean shot, and just simple, not over cluttered. I think a lot of it was I was so in love with that figure, and I shot it and it just came out as well as the figure looks in reality, and it's just been one of those ones I think I got really, really well received. And it's just been one of those ones I've been really happy with how it came out. And
have you ever taken a photograph and you've aced it? You've got it straight away. Ever done that?
Just one shot and got the picture I wanted.
Yeah.
I have definitely, maybe never one, but maybe within 4 or 5. Because then I do one, I'm like, wow, that was pretty good, but I'll keep going and see what else we can get.
Right.
I did that with I don't know if either of you is thinking, but I did an Alien vs Predator shot maybe 2 days ago. I mean, it's maybe like second last post that I posted, and I didn't really go in with an image in my head, but I was kind of, we're going to do this, and I wanted the tail to sweep around and create like a frame for the photo, and I did it within like 2 shots. I was like, that looks great. We'll keep going. And then I only did about 4 shots. Went to the computer and I was like, these are great. Like, we'll go with that. I never won because I was like, surely that's not it in one.
To be honest with you, I'd be surprised if anybody has taken one picture and nailed it straight away. Mm-hmm. Because are you one of these people who are? Well, I think you've alluded to it in that you think you're never really happy with your work, and you can always find ways of it, like either improving it or you just take that extra shot to. Because you said about like you sometimes you go to the picture, you take it, you put it on screen. Okay, right, I'm going to tweak this and move that about, or I'm going to put this here and stuff like that. I mean, do you do that with all your photos, or is it just
not a lot?
Yeah,
I think I've got a little bit better now that just kind of looking at things. I think sometimes it's different looking at through your camera compared to looking at on, say, like your laptop or your bigger screen, that you can kind of sometimes see a little bit more. But I think I've got a little bit better just when I'm setting everything up, like kind of watching what I'm doing, and I'm starting to kind of see composition a little bit better now before having to go to the computer and kind of see the thing shots. But yeah, no, like I really criticize my own work. Even when picking this 5, I was kind of looking through my Instagram. God, I hate all these. None of these are good. What one am I going to choose? Yeah, I'm so bad. But as soon as I post it, I'm like, I'll say to the wife and that, I was like, as soon as I post it, I'm like, I don't like that. I shouldn't have posted that. I might delete it.
Wow.
And then it gets like thousands of likes. I'm like, oh, okay, it must have been okay.
That's insane. Right, let's move on to the next one. This, I like this. I just think this is a fun picture. Mark?
Brilliant. Absolutely love it. Love, once again, it's, poetry in motion and motion personified and captured. I love this. We get the kind of spit effect coming out of Raph's mouth that is being punched in the jaw, and your spark effect of Bat using, like, blocking Leo's sword strike. It's just it is an all action shot, and I know it's a Stu and BobaHicks cliche to say in this show. I have to say it. We have to get it out at least once. It looks like a shot from a film. It looks like it could have just been captured on the set of a movie. It looks that good. I love the wetness of the turtles. They look so organic and real.
Brilliant. I second that.
I probably actually do that with every shot I take, especially Aliens, because I've got like an old Dettol spray bottle full of water, and I always spray down my shots, especially Aliens, and that's where I get the wet gooey look from, because I've tried using things like gels and things to make a wet alien, and then I just, especially my Queen, all my Queen shots is just me misting the entire set, and street ones, it gives you that rain or sweat kind of idea, and the Aliens is the heat and the goo. But I nearly do that to every photo now, is spray everything with water just to give it that wet look.
What was the
Absolutely awesome.
inspiration for this one?
I think I'd recently just watched the Batman v Turtles animation. And again, this is a little bit of a revisit. Like, I'd done some Batman Turtle stuff very, very early in my toy career. I can't remember if I think I just knew, like, I'd watched the Batman Turtles anime, and I was like, yeah, Joe, what, I'm gonna go back, but this time instead of a team up, let's do a fight thing. And I can't remember how I came up with the idea of I wanted him fighting all four, and this was a picture that took a long time of posing, and I think even I was just sitting in the living room playing with the figures, kind of getting an idea before I was kind of like, right, okay, let's take this to the garage and shoot. And there's a few things that didn't kind of work out the way, because I think originally I had him blocking the sword, punching, and then I had he's actually up on a flight stand, so he's really elevated, because the original idea was going to be he was on one leg and then he was blocking Donnie's bow staff, but with his shin, like a kind of Muay Thai block. But then I just couldn't capture that because the Wrath figure was in the way. So it was a lot of tweaking and a lot of playing. But so I don't think this picture did very well on Instagram. But Joe, I just always really loved it. I love the flow of it. I love kind of just each thing that's got a piece. It was a picture I really really happy with this one. But yeah, it didn't actually do that well.
That's a shame, because I think this is such a dynamic picture. It really is. And I like the way you've got that, Mark alluded to earlier with the spark effects. And I'm guessing you use that's the same effect for the spit and the sparks at the back there.
Yeah. And it's the same one that I used for the alien blood in the first Alien picture.
Yeah.
I just used that
again,
one.
you've just dumbed it down, because that looks like he's actually got spit and saliva or sweat coming from
so that one I've just taken out the saturation of it and kind of made it a little bit transparent. And then obviously the one at the back, that is pretty much the natural color of it. So I just color change that to green for other shots. I do have loads of different effects I use, but I just really favor that one.
Well, no, if it works, it works. Yeah. I just think it looks really cool, and it really adds to the overall look of this picture. Again, the background, I'm liking that with the Coca-Cola sign there. I just think that's so cool, really awesome. So from start to finish, then, how long did it take to get the shot that you wanted? I mean, because you kind of like said about the figure standing and stuff like that. Do you use figure stands and stuff for these?
I did for this one, because, like I said, my original idea. So he's very much balanced on kind of a toe, and even like the shin is still up for that block, but it didn't show. So he's still in a weird position. But a lot of times I don't use figure stands, but I'll just use like a little bit of wire, and even if the figure's just there, and maybe there's a bit of wire just holding them up, just to keep that base, rather than and it's so easy to take out a wire than to take out the whole clips of like a stand, unless unless it's something proper flying. Then I'll use that. But no, this one took a good couple of hours, and most of it was just getting that posing right. And as well, even like I said, kind of before, you can have it on the table, and you can have the pose done. You think, yeah, that looks pretty cool. He's doing this and doing that, and then once you get the camera in it, you're like, oh, like that doesn't look right, or his arms too high, so you can't see Donatello properly, or like even like Michelangelo. I was like, how am I going to fit him in? I was like, Joe, we'll just make it like he's already been punched and he's kind of like down and out trying to get back up.
Wow. Yeah. Again, just noticing that is what I mean. The thought process that goes into some of these photos to get that shot. I mean, again, I wouldn't have even thought about that without Donatello being the one at the front being down. I'm not a big Turtles fan, so I wouldn't know who's who here. But him being down, I just think that's absolutely fantastic to think of that. I'm loving the cape, the way that's sort of like flowing out and stuff like that. And it's just such an incredible shot. It really is absolutely awesome. Mark?
It's amazing. And you know what? To hell with it doing well or not on Instagram. At the end of the day, Instagram, like YouTube and all these other things, it's an algorithm pushing certain things at certain times. And, there's no accounting for taste at the end of the day. The fact of the matter is, if more people would see this picture, then more people would like it, because it's an excellent picture. It's an excellent picture. And, that's why, obviously we all like getting likes and stuff on Instagram, but at the end of the day, when you've made a quality shot and when you've put the effort in to make something special. If you were to go for it, to take another crack at it, is there anything you'd do differently?
I don't know. Actually, it's just like this one and the next one are probably my two favorite shots I've done, and both didn't do great. But I'd maybe just, there's nothing kind of a look at and go, that annoys me and I don't like that. But I'd maybe just explore different kind of options with it and maybe just kind of pull back the camera a little bit more. And I probably did do this when I was shooting anyway, and I've kind of decided to kind of zoom in a bit to fill the screen to get rid of that dead space. So I'd maybe just try pulling back a bit more, getting a bit more of kind of maybe the scene or something, or I would just maybe play with it and explore just some more options. But excuse me, straight off the bat, nothing that kind of sticks out to me that I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that.
I like the fact that it is a busy picture because it's predominantly you've got all four of them there, and there, like you say, there isn't much dead space at all. So it is a busy picture, and I just like it for that. I like it for that. I just think it's a tremendous picture. Absolutely. What about what is it about this picture then for you that stands out to put it in your top 5?
I don't know if there's anything really particularly. I don't know if it was because it was a really difficult setup, and I'm a huge Batman fan. I love Turtles, even though kind of a lot of my photography is based around Alien and Predator. I'm a huge Batman and Turtle fan. I think it was maybe just because it was so difficult to kind of get everything set up and balanced, and we've all been in that situation where you've had everything set up like this, and then you go to tweak a bandana, and then the entire thing collapses, and then you quit toy photography for 20 minutes, and then you come back to it again. For how painful it was to try and get everything set up and balanced, I was just really, really happy with how it came out. And it's just one of those ones that the same with the next one as well, just 2 photos I've just always been like, really, really happy with how that came out.
I mean, the attention to details of this is just incredible. With, like Mark said, the look of the turtle's skin and stuff like that, you sprayed it down, and it really does give it that like realistic look. And it's just things like that. I mean, again, the lighting I think is absolutely fantastic. It's just the right amount of lighting, the right amount. I mean, you've got a bit of vape going in the background there. I've noticed. I just really like this picture, and the more I look at it, the more I really like it. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. Mark, is there anything else you want to say before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, no, really to kind of echo what you've been saying. I absolutely love it, and the more you look at it, it's like you just see like a little detail here and there each time that makes you like it a little bit more. I even love the way Raph is gripping one of his sides as he's getting hit, and is kind of like it's great. Just like there's just loads of nice little touches, and like I said at the beginning, it's just motion personified. Like I feel like I can feel Don about to swing that bow staff. I feel like I can feel the force of Leonardo's sword hitting off his forearm. Like it really captures that moment of motion so well. And yeah, it's just an excellent shot.
Yeah, like I say, the more I look at this, the more I'm really liking this one. Because we move on to your last one, and I kept this one to last because it was my favorite, and it still is. I mean, this is just insane. I am loving this. Wow, Mark.
Beautiful. I love the whole idea of this as somebody who kind of would have played a lot of the AVP video games and stuff, to be in a jungle setting with xenomorphs and a predator. It's something special, and this, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to have to ask you how you've done some of this, but it doesn't look like an earthly jungle. It looks like an alien world that you've created.
Yeah, that was kind of my idea, because I think even when you put your location on, I think I've done it as like off-world or deep space or something, was kind of the idea in my head was it's an alien planet, but then I've not gone like crazy with that and put big purple funny plants or nothing. It was kind of the idea, but this one was actually really painful to light. Like, I like to do jungle and forest shots, but I don't know how to light them. I really don't. And every time I do them, I was like, that doesn't look right with the lighting. But yeah,
was there like an idea you already had in place for this? Was it inspired by anything in particular? Or?
I don't think so. I think this was just one of those ones where I think this was a bit of a lazy shot to start with. I was like, oh no, it's like I always usually post stuff for like Predator Wednesday, and I think I was kind of just like, oh no, I need to do something. I'll do Predator versus Alien. I do that all the time, and I had the base of a jungle or the forest dial setup, which is just a black bag with dirt from the garden, and then I've got like a jungle backdrop, and then just loads of fake plants and things. And I think I'd had the dirt pit out, and I was like, well, we'll just do something in the forest. And I don't think it's terribly original shot from what I do. Like I do a lot of a predator, and then I do a lot of the same things of xenomorphs in the background, and then one's in the foreground, just so they're kind of surrounded. So I don't think I went and did anything special compared to some other shots, but I just always really liked this one. I really like how the predator looks, which is the same Mezco predator, but you can see kind of the custom paint work I've done on the kind of head, which just brings it to a completely different level compared to the kind of the NECA ones, and or what it was stock.
This is incredible. I mean, it is amazing. It's got an air of menace about it as well, because it's not an action shot, but you know, looking at this, that something is going to go down. You captured that perfectly. I mean, the alien, the head at the front there, I just think is absolutely fantastic. It's, you know, and not seeing the whole alien as well sometimes is just very reminiscent of the original film Alien, where it looks more scarier when you don't see it fully. You know it's there and you can see bits of it. But this is just absolutely incredible. When you're saying about the lighting, and I think you've nailed that, absolutely nailed it. It's definitely my favorite shot out of the whole lot. I mean, that Batman and Turtles one's definitely a close second. So for this one then, process-wise, how long did this take from start to finish?
Again, I don't think this was a tremendously long one. Like I kind of never was really going for any crazy posing. I was kind of predator in the middle, surrounded by, like, you know, to me this is a autopilot setup for me now, is a character versus a bunch of aliens. I do it with so much shots now that I'm kind of like an alien here, an alien there, one's in the foreground. There we go. That's my shots. And like I said, I don't know why this one's just always stuck in me. He's one of my absolute favorite shots. So yeah, I don't think there was really an inspiration or anything. It was just let's throw together an AVP shot and see what we end up with.
Do you find, Dave, with your photography, that you've got this image in your head and you spend absolute ages like taking the photographs, setting it up and adding bits or moving the figures around and stuff like that, and the ones that you spend longer on, they're the ones that you think, yeah, that's going to be a great shot, and that doesn't work out that way, and then ones that you spend sort of like less time on, you know, you kind of throw it together within about an hour and a half, and they're the ones that you think, okay, and then they get the most likes. Is that kind of like
yeah, but I would find them kind of the other way around. So if I have a clear image of what I want, so like I did a photo of RoboCop with Ed 101, where you're looking through Ed's legs to the RoboCop. So I kind of had that idea, and because I knew what I was doing, I do it so quick because I know exactly what I want to do. It's ones where I don't really know the picture. I'm kind of like, I'll do something with Alien Predator and maybe pose this here. That one, I'm kind of forcing to find the shot, where those are the ones that take longer. So it's when I've got a picture in my head of what I want, I usually can get that really quick because I know what I'm going for. So yeah, it's ones where I don't really have an inspiration, or I'm playing, or I'm not really set an idea, and that I'll spend a long time messing with. And then a lot of those ones I take shots and they just end up rotting on the laptop and never seeing the light of Instagram.
Wow. But again, just incredible. Mark?
Yeah, I just love the kind of the claustrophobic feeling of this one. Like, the xenomorph swarm is like closing in, and they're drawing in upon this like lone predator, and even the aliens in the background, it looks like they have literally descended from the trees, like, and there's just gathering around them. As Stu mentioned as well, it's great, especially these aliens to the sides. We're not seeing the actual full form of the aliens. We're only seeing parts of them, which is, you know, quite menacing and
Plus
scary.
They're big figures, and they take up a lot. They take up a lot of the picture.
Oh yeah, they certainly do. But you've really just you've nailed it with the lighting. And like, I'd be probably of the same mindset as you. I don't know offhand how I would approach lighting like a jungle environment, but you've cracked that code, like, because the way you've lit this is perfect. It's so good. Is there anything you would change about it if you were to go for it again?
I would have a little bit more, probably like the backdrop and things. Like like the alien to over top of his kind of open hand. I think it just kind of blends into the background, like a little bit more separation with that, or almost a bit of, say your jungle. But again, this is why, because I don't like doing the jungle, but I don't think I'm very good at doing the jungle ones, is kind of having your trees and your bushes and then having kind of almost the sun coming through that rather than just dead green and light coming this way. Like I've always tried to keep the idea of, when I'm doing a shot is where's the light coming from? If it's on a street, you're kind of like, oh, you've got moonlight, street lights, oh, there's a fire there, that's where the orange is coming from. And even there, that's where my idea of the orange was kind of set with the Predators, that camp where they've got like fires everywhere. So a lot of times I'm like, oh, I'd like to put a bit of this color here, but I'm like, where's that coming from? Why would that color be there? Whereas a lot of your jungle sets is just, a lot of times it's just sunlight coming through, and I don't think I do sunlight very well. So that's why everything's dark and moody in my shots. But yeah, a little bit more natural kind of jungle light, if I could master that.
Yeah, I get that. But for me personally, it is that good. It could be a still from a film. It really is fantastic. I mean, the figures are great, and they take a great photograph anyway. But you've brought these to life, and you've made it look realistic. And for me, that is a realistic picture, and it does look like something out of an AVP movie. It really does. It's just absolutely fantastic. So what is it then for this photo that stands out for you to make it into your top 5?
I really like the angle of it. It's not just dead flat Predator there. It's that offset angle again. Just like the way we've got the face huggers on the foregrounds kind of coming in. So it's it's that desperation. It's not just xenomorphs. It's all these face huggers crawling in as well.
Oh god, yeah.
I don't know how we did it as well, but I just love the pose of the Predator. Sometimes you do something unintentional and you look and go, oh, I like that, and I don't want to mess with it because I probably won't get it again. Like the way like the open hand is and stuff. It was obviously my custom Predator head that I painted myself, so I've always got I did a really good job of that repaint as well, and I think like the repaint of the head and that came out really well in that picture. And it's just like I said, it's one of those. It wasn't even like a big planned shot. It was a bit of a pain in the ass kind of shot, but just when I posted that, I was like, oh, I really like this. Just like this one and that Batman one were like two of the shots that are kind of, and again, I don't think this one did tremendously well. Like obviously I know Instagram's algorithm and things. But yeah, like this one and the Batman one, it's just been two of those shots that's just always kind of sat there. I'm like, I'm really, really chuffed and happy with that shot, how that came out.
Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. And you're saying about the custom paint job on the head. Now, I've not seen the actual figure itself, so I wouldn't have known what it was like beforehand. But looking at that it does look like a real life Predator. Not that they're real life anyway, but you know what I mean.
That Mexico one's got like real netting and stuff on it, but the paint job was just it was sculpt there, but there wasn't the same like black spots and and all of
that really stands out. That really does stand out.
Like I watch YouTube videos and I just got Sharpie and I just did all the dots myself and spread them out and did them right so it doesn't look stupid, and then just some washes on it and things and kind of I just did that, and I thought it would be mildly better, but when I did it, I was like, wow, that's night and day difference on that figure. And I did a bit over the body and things like that. And it really, I really fallen in love with that figure since. If it maybe double jointed elbows, it'd be perfect. But that's about the only issues of the single joint elbows. But no, it's world of difference. Sorry, with that repaint on it.
Yeah, no, definitely looks absolutely quality. Just one last question for you before we go. How easy is it for you to just think, right, I've got an idea for a picture? Do they come straight away, or do you spend time thinking about them?
Hit or miss. Sometimes I'm bad for a lot of times, kind of being, and again, shooting time now was starting to get less and less, like work life, family life, and the things are busy. So I'm sometimes really only getting about one shot done a week. And a lot of times it turns into like, right, I'm going to shoot something today. And I kind of look around, maybe look at Instagram, and I look around my room, and I was like, do you know what? I haven't shot Godzilla in ages. I'm going to do Godzilla. And then I'm kind of forcing an idea of like, what could I do with Godzilla? Whereas sometimes I'll just be, and the best ideas come out of nowhere. You can be at work doing something, and all of a sudden you just get a wee image of, and maybe not even something, it's just like, oh, Batman on rooftop. But you've just got a visual image of how you want to do it. and you're like, oh, that's quite good. And then I've got little notes on my phone, and I write down like little ideas I've got or a description of it. So then I can come back to it when I do have the time and kind of be like, oh yeah, I was going to do Batman or Predator versus Rambo, and I good, and like I've had an image in my head of how I'm planning to do that. But then yeah, sometimes you've got to force it, and sometimes it's when you're not thinking about it, you come up with good ideas.
Yeah, no, I've got to say, overall, I have been blown away by your photography. I just think it's absolutely fantastic. Every single photo that you've got in your top 5 and your honourable mention, it's just absolutely tremendous. Your attention to detail, the way the lighting and everything about your photos, it's just brilliant. And the vape, I just find that an absolute stroke of genius. I would never have thought of that myself. Mark, is there anything you want to say and add before we wrap up?
Well, yeah, I'd like to firstly encourage anybody who is not doing so already to actually go and follow Collector's Orbit's Instagram page. I've been following it for a long time, and like I said earlier, usually when we do this show, it's my first time, encountering or looking at the work of the people we speak to, but David's stuff I've been following for a long time. I'm always blown away by what he posts, and I was delighted to get chatting with him today and get a bit of an insight into what his mindset is and how he puts these pictures together. And as I've said before, when we've spoken to other photographers, it's always something that will give me food for thought, that maybe if I can put my mind to it and start thinking outside the box a bit, you can come up with some amazing pictures. Obviously in the case of David, he's got the tools and the talents to get it done as well, which helps. We never actually asked you at any time, do you use like an actual camera, or are you using a phone? What are you taking your shots on?
Yeah, I use an actual camera. It's a Nikon D33. But originally I started off with my phone, and it was actually one of my friends who was like, I'm quite liking this toy. He's not into the toys or anything like that. And he's like, it's quite a good job. He's like, Joe, I've got a camera that you could just use if you want. And he was like, I'll get it back if I ever need it. And I've literally had it for about 3 years now. So one of these days he's going to come knocking and say, can I get my camera back? And that'll be the end of my toy career. I'll go back to my phone or something.
How much of a difference do you find with the quality of picture that you take with your phone and your camera? Well, between the difference between the two?
Do you know what? I don't know if I could really answer that, because it's been such a long time since I've used my phone. And I look now going, oh, wow. But you know what? See, the photos I take now are night and day. But then back when I was using my phone, I didn't really know what I was doing. Didn't have any dioramas. Do you know what? Leave that with me. I might go and do a shot one day with my phone, with my current light, because I think lighting is probably more important than like anybody that's like, oh, I've got £50 to invest in toy photography. Apart from toys, what should I get? I'd put it towards a better camera. I would always say lighting. Like that makes your world a difference for everything. Especially when you get into your like pro modes on your phone and stuff, you can control because that's what I'd kind of done when I did use my phone. And I think you could probably produce just as much quality shots and things with a phone, with the correct lighting and everything. Yeah. Leave it with me. I'll maybe do a little venture and do some phone stuff and help everybody's morale that can't get the camera.
Just one last question. Where can people find you on social media? Now, we know you've got your Instagram, and I'll post the link to your social media page in the description below. But is there anywhere else that you...
That's it pretty much. I do have a Facebook page as well. But again, it's just my photos get shared there as well, rather than anything special. Yeah, pretty much Instagram's my main thing.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll leave the link to your Instagram page in the description below. David, I've got to say, I mean, Mark spoke to himself with, he was excited before because he's seen your work and the big follower and stuff like that. And when I sent him who we were going to be chatting to, I think was it yesterday or Friday, you said you're really looking forward to chatting with him. I mean, I've viewed a lot of your photography, and I've just got to say it is mind blowing. You're such a talented guy, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show and on the channel. So thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, not a problem at all. No worries. So, like I said, I'll leave the description. No, I won't. I'll leave the link in the description below to David's Instagram page. I just want to say a massive thank you to David once again. Mark, again, an absolute pleasure having you on, mate. I really do enjoy doing this series with you, so thank you so much. That is it for this chat. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's watching. Take care, stay safe, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.